life got real tough once I got to, like, once I left home. So my parents divorced at 15. Like, I testified I never wanted to see my mom again, and then I left with my dad. Yeah, so the other branch of that story is you got the abuse from at least my earliest memory of like 4.5, 5 years old, and then till 15 years old. Then we leave. I go to PA with my dad because my mom basically hated my guts. It was such a divided family. It was the girls and my mom that we lived like the farm life. Like I grew up a farm boy, and against like my dad and the fighter, right? Like I was a puppet, and I just mimicked everything that he said. But I chose my dad because I didn't want to lose wrestling or jiu-jitsu or boxing and everything. But then when I got up, giving you meaning. But then when I got up to PA, he had already had a girl he was laid up in that it was like that's all that mattered to him. And then she worked. He doesn't work, you know what I mean? So he found somebody to prey on, to manipulate, to do his thing, and then it was like, I don't need my kid no more after I went to court. And like, I didn't understand the consequences of testifying in court against your mom and being dragged to court out of school and that humiliation. I didn't talk to my mom and my sisters for years. And we don't talk currently. We haven't talked since before I got in the UFC. And we haven't talked since before I broke my arm.
Wow.
Because I knocked my sister's boyfriend out for being a meth head.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, man, I mean, once I moved up to PA, that was the worst. Like, that short span from 15 to, like, 18 was like, man, like, I was out.
So where were you staying during that time?
So I stayed in Media, PA. I lived in, it's Pennsylvania, but it's like 25 minutes outside of Philadelphia. So it's like the suburb city. Honestly, it's like it's not bougie, but it's like a towny, nice town. Mm-hmm. And, everything was new to me. I came from a school of 330 kids. I got into high school. I was in a school of like 1,600 kids across 4 grades. But they were all like preppy fuckers. Like, kids down in South Jersey where I grew up, they were all fighting each other, like beating each other up, jumping each other after school. Up here, everybody would talk shit and nobody would fight. So it was like it was a weird thing for me to adjust. I didn't have friends. I didn't have a phone like until I started getting a job. And yeah, man, it was weird. It was really weird. I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, and my dad, his girl at the time, he's married to now, and her 2 daughters, we all lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. Oof. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was just like it was a terrible living situation. And then the beatings, man, I swear to God, he used to beat me up just to prove that he could beat me, and show his girl that he was tough and he, like nobody could fuck with him type of deal. And it was just like, man, so it got real dark, man, and started like stomping me, broke my teeth. I had two crowns, because of him, because of breaking my teeth. And I would curl up. Like, he would punch me like a grown man, but I would curl up. He would throw uppercuts. Like, that's how intent this guy was on getting me. And the last fight we had, it was over a fucking game called Uncharted 3. And we were playing co-op. But because I would get more kills than him, this is the kind of shit he would rage at. And mind you, throughout all these years, right, he's on SSD. The reason being, he had a car accident. He was an oil truck driver. I forget the story of who blew the light, but when he was going through the light, he got T-boned, or he T-boned, blew out his back, had to get surgery. Apparently it failed. Whenever he wanted to jump up and whoop your ass up, dude was a cripple. So it's crazy, and he would go box 15 rounds, but throughout 2004, all the way until I was 15 years old, and then some, this man was on narcotics all the time. He was on Vicodin, Percocet, Oxy. Definitely was addicted. There was never a time that I didn't see it. The dude used to have like 60 fucking bottles of it. And he would take medicine and then he would drink 2 Yingers. And I think when I look back, I'm like, man, like, that shit'll make a motherfucking angry. And it just got worse as I got older. But I remember the last fight that we had. It was, I remember I used to look at him, big cry, and say, you don't love me. I got this empty hole in my chest because I didn't understand emotion side. I'm trying to plead with him, like, yo, like, something's wrong with me. I got a hole in my chest. I don't know what it is. And I don't even know how to explain it. And the things he would say in rebuttal would be like, kill yourself, your feelings don't matter, shut the fuck up. When I say jump, you say how high. Like, there was no remorse for anything he did, and I think that's why I despise him. You know, the dude hurt me. He hurt me for a lot of years that I had to repair. And even then, I still carry over some bad attitude problems. And, you know, dude fucking, it got to the point where it was like, either I'm gonna kill myself or I'm gonna kill him. And finally, he beat me at the death. The one day, he beat me at the death. And I packed a bag of clothes, came out, pulled a fucking knife on me, said he was gonna kill me with it. I shoved him, ran out the fucking door, and never went back. Never went back. At what? 16. I was just turning. I was either 16 and the week after 17. I don't remember. But I was within 2 weeks of turning 17 when I left. Or I just turned 17. It was in the and yeah, so I left, slept in the park for a couple nights, and then I wound up standing up for a kid, a black kid that was getting called racial slurs, and that was my first friend I had made, and yeah, I mean, he wound up having, he definitely was on the spectrum. Like, he wasn't the smartest kid. Unfortunately, like, he had some things that people would pick on him for, like being overweight, and he would say some weird stuff and whatnot, but yeah, he was the first friend that I developed, and his brother was in juvie for arson, trying to light somebody's house on fire. And he was adopted by a white man. So, but the house that they lived in, bro, it was like the most disgusting living environment you could fucking think of. Cat piss infested, hoarder of comics that were all destroyed from cat piss. Like every part of the house would have been sticky. Like your shoes would stick to the fucking floor. And there was shit everywhere. The smell was like a pneumonia. Maggots in the sink because he refused for about 4 years to fix the garbage disposal. That's how long it sat there, broken, live wire on the overhead of the oven. So I lived in there, and I wind up I used to run papers to the courthouse and make like $75 a week. So every time I would make a little bit of money, and his dad would give me some money sometimes to like try and help like straighten up the house, and I would buy bleach and fucking bleach shit and try to clean. And bro, it was disgusting. Like, you could wash your clothes 6 fucking times and it would still smell like cat piss and pneumonia. And it was a very embarrassing, very humbling way to live. And I lived off instant food, like microwave food, for the next 2 years. All my wrestling high school years and the next 2 years that I was there, everything was either donated food from my wrestling coach, Will Harmon, who fucking, man, that was my saving grace when I went to that school. You know, I don't want to miss that part. Like, that's important to me. That man is the whole reason I'm in the UFC now. Wow. So,
goddamn, dude.
Those were the living conditions, man. Like, I mean, fucking, and my wrestling coach would come to the house, you know, and then I had truancy officers coming after me because I missed so much school. It was either DIFUS or some child services at a certain point that was like, who's taking care of you? Who's your caregiver? And, you know, I had a nasty response for him, and nothing kind of came of it, but it was like, do I look like I'm fucking unhealthy? I remember slamming the door in the woman's face because I thought they were going to try and take me from the house. But yeah, man, it was shitty times, and, you know, life beats you up in ways that you're not prepared for, and doesn't change. No matter how much money you make, no matter you're here, there's always going to be a problem. It's just how you roll with it. So,
well, for sure. But having been through the problems that you've been through, I guarantee you know how to navigate problems better than most people.
I've voiced it a lot, you know. People always think I'm bitching. But I'm, bro, and I am. Sometimes I bitch, you know, because that's my way of coping. I'll put it out there so it's not stuck inside. And that's something that's worked for me. You know, I say a lot of things that I feel. And as long as I get it out, I'm happy, you know what I mean? At least I'm settled. I don't have that, like, anger, like, waiting to explode, you know? That's the worst.
Did you ever think of where you would be if it wasn't for martial arts in that same situation?
I would kill myself, 100%. I struggled even when I had it, you know? And that's the...
It's one of the only things that gets people out.
Yeah. I just didn't see a life for me, man. I was so stupid. And when I say stupid, like, the whole time that my dad's a stay-at-home dad, and I want to give credit to my mother, too. You know, my mother, I never really felt like loved me that much. And, you know, it is what it is. But my mom worked her ass off, and that's why I get my work ethic. That woman held 2 jobs. She did what she could to provide. She wasn't, you know, she wasn't a bum. She tried, and she did the best she could with a dude like that. You know what I mean? She never had another man, still hasn't had another man to this day. She was married to him for 20 years. They had 5 blood kids, and yeah, I mean, I owe my mom respect for that because she's a hard-working woman. And didn't matter if she used to work at ShopRite, Home Depot. Those were her 2 jobs, and CNA, and you know she did what she could. You know, so I respect her for that. And yeah, I mean, fuck, man, that dude was not teaching us homeschool. Was my point for years. You were afraid to ask him to fucking give you a spelling bee because he was sitting at the fucking computer playing games. So if you did it, what the fuck do you want? What the fuck are you bothering? Like, it was always a huge like explosion. So you're a kid. And you know from getting beat by this person, it's like, I don't want to make him mad. He might fucking slap me. He might hit me. He might do something. So all of us were scared. We didn't fucking learn anything. I tested to get in public school. Motherfucker, they held me back. I was dumb as shit. Like, it is what it is. So, yeah, I mean, so my point is making light of something, you know, dark, you know, but then coming back to the dark side, man, if I didn't have MMA, I don't think I would be successful. I don't think I would have been strong enough. I don't think I would have had confidence, and I think life would have broke me, man. I think I would have taken, you know, the easy way out.